Hey guys, Kevin here. Had some free time, so I thought I'd go ahead and make a video. I haven't done a vinyl update in a while, so I've actually accumulated quite a few, so it's about time to share those with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So like I've told you in the past on my last video, that I am in music hibernation mode, which I have clarified as a time where I only listen to records that came out this year to really study them and kind of get a consensus for where they're going to land on my list. So what I'm playing right now is it came out this year. It's an EP. I saw these guys when they opened up for War on Drugs about 2 weeks ago, and they were pretty loud and pretty awesome live. Nice, like just a fun atmospheric band. I decided to pick up the EP. It's pretty cheap, so I just gave it a chance, and it was quite different. I don't know if you can hear, but it's quite different from what it was like live, but nonetheless it's a pretty good record. Nice to just throw on in the background. This is going to be Purling Hiss. It's called Lounge Lizards EP. Pretty cool cover, just pretty basic, pretty cheap as well, so it's fun to have on in the background. Nothing too special out of it though, nothing that takes too much thought or too much concentration, but it's nonetheless a great EP. It's got a couple songs on it. I think there's 6. So yeah, it goes by pretty quick though. It's fun. Anyways, let's jump into what I got. I got a lot of great albums, ones I've been looking for a while. Finally, decided to spend a little money on them and add them to the list of albums that I got from this year. First one is a band that I loved when they put out their debut album. It's the album was actually called Album. So this came out in 2009. One of my favorite of that year. They're from San Francisco. They have definitely beefed up their sound for this release. This is their sophomore LP release. They did release an EP last year, but nonetheless, this is their second LP. It's gonna be Girls, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. As you can see, record 3 right there. This is gonna be all the lyrics. I really don't like this cover, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's easy to look at and find the lyrics and pay attention while you're looking at listening to the song. Pretty cool gatefold though. Christopher Owens, who is the frontman, lead singer, and songwriter of Girls, took those photos of San Francisco, their hometown. Now, if you don't know anything about Christopher Owens, he was once a member of a cult, Children of God, I believe is what it's called. He escaped that, moved to San Francisco, and kind of dived into songwriting. You can tell he pulls his influences from Elvis Costello and bands like that. A lot of his songs are about heartbreak, but on this album, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, he's dived more into his relationship with his mom, which I believe is a little bit on the rockier side. So there's some good songs and emotions that he pulls from that on this album. Definitely one of the best produced albums. If you listen to the first album, it's more surf, pop, a little bit of punk elements, but pretty lo-fi, where this one is definitely beefed up. Like I was saying, they brought in some background vocalists, so it's at some parts, even on the lead single of Vomit, it sounds like a Pink Floyd influence from Dark Side of the Moon, which is pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that when I first heard it, but it's one of my favorite albums of the year. It keeps growing on me, and especially when I got on vinyl, it sounded a lot better. Cool thing is that it came with this little 7-inch, it's like a paper-thin, floppy 7-inch. It's called Love Life, just one song. It's a great song. Nice addition to that record that I got there, so that was pretty cool to grab. This one I got yesterday actually, and I have been holding out because it's a little bit pricier, but I've loved this band since about 2003 when they released Before the Dawn Heals. This is one of my favorite records of all time. Very atmospheric, very cinematic. They kind of, on their last album, Saturday's Equal Youth, pulled from like 80s movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a lot of John Hughes movies, so they stuck with the child theme on the cover for this one as they did their last album. This is actually a double album, which is a little bit daunting, but it definitely delivers on almost all the songs. It's called Hurry Up We're Dreaming by M83, French group, electronic. He does, Anthony Gonzalez, who's the frontman for this band, does a lot more singing on this release, so it's a little different from what you might have heard in the past. But it's a great album. I'm still diving into it because it is kind of lengthy, but my favorite cuts are Midnight City, which is a single. The intro with Zola Jesus is on it. It's pretty phenomenal. Year One UFO is also a great song. And Steve McQueen is probably my favorite song on the whole album. That's on side 4, so it's the second part of the album. So Definitely a daunting task, but if you stick with it, it's very rewarding. And how can you not love that cover art? He always has some pretty good cover art for his album, so that's definitely pretty cool to see that he stuck up with that. Now this one's from last year. I saw Dan in Canada talking about it in his Best of 2010, and I realized that I kind of overlooked it, so I thought I'd pick it up. And you know, I kind of heard some tracks from it last year, but I really didn't dive into it. So this time, went out and got the vinyl and spent some time with it before I went into music hibernation. So a great release. If I redid my list from last year, it'd probably be in my top 5 after giving it this much attention this time around. And that's Flying Lotus-Cosmogram. He's huge out here in LA. He's from LA. He's actually a relative of Alice Coltrane, so you know, he's got some roots in the music business. Pretty cool cover art too. Everyone I know that has this or you know sees me talking about it always talks about how great the artwork is, and you know, I agree. Now this one I picked up on a whim because I like some of his past albums. It's pretty basic. It came out this year. I hadn't heard anything from it, so it was a little bit of a trial and error. And so far, it's nothing that I love. I like some of his first 2 albums, but this one's just okay. It's gonna need a couple more spins, but for now I can't really come to a conclusion on it, and that's gonna be AA Bondy-Believers. Kind of a cool cover, you know, but I don't know where I stand on this yet. So I'm gonna give it some more time. But this is Believers by AA Bondy. Singer-songwriter, pretty basic. His voice is pretty great though, nonetheless. But I'm not sure of the songwriting on this part. Now this album, I can't believe I haven't got it a long time ago. When it first came out. Loved this album for so long now, and I'm so happy to finally have gotten it. It's taken me way too long to pick this up, but this is going to be Kurt Vile, Smoke Ring for My Halo. It's a great album. He's from Philadelphia, and he comes from like the Bob Dylan, you know, Tom Petty kind of sound. Lyric sheet. And there he is with the long hair right there. So he's more about just putting it on, creating an ambience and a mood and letting the record ride and just kind of having a good time. It's all about freewheeling and just, you know, grooving, I guess you could say. It's a great album. It's definitely my top 10. I think right now I have it ranked at 8, but that's not set in stone, of course. So that's a great album. If you haven't heard Kurt Vile, pick it up. If you like War on Drugs, he was also in that band before he went solo. So check them out as well as Kurt Vile. Now, in a video in the past, my last update, I believe I asked people for some recommendations on jazz. Just getting into it, I have the essentials like Coltrane and Miles Davis and stuff like that. So I asked some people where else to go, and they pretty much recommend me check out Teddy's video, and that was his starter kit for jazz. And I picked up some good ones from there. This one I picked up for rather cheap because it's used, but in great condition. I got it in Amoeba. That's Charlie Parker, The Best of Bird. So has quite a few cuts on it, so haven't really given it too much spins because I'm trying to focus, like I said, on this year releases, but from what I heard I really liked it. Cover artwork is kind of boring, but it's got a great insert of some artwork and stuff of, it's pretty neat to look at, so great pickup. I'm glad I got that for rather cheap too. Now this I got for my birthday from a friend. I wasn't really expecting it, and I can't believe I didn't have this already. Wilco's one of my favorite bands. I just need a Ghost is Born to complete the collection of discography. So this one was one step closer to doing that, and that's Being There. One of my favorite records by them, probably my 4th, behind Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, Summer Tea, Ghost is Born, and Being There. Double album. It's got a lot of songs on it. Sunken Treasure is probably one that most people know, but I mean, Misunderstood's a great song. Far, Far Away. Out of Sight, Out of Mind. There's so many hits on this, I can't even begin to start. So if you're going to dive into Wilco, I would recommend starting here. It's right after AM, second album, so it's a little less country, a little more into what you kind of hear now from Wilco, so it's a great album. Another album, you guys have heard me talk about this guy so much. The album finally came out on vinyl. It's been out for a while on CD and MP3, so glad to pick this up finally. Definitely worth the wait. The packaging is phenomenal, and this will be in my top 5, absolutely. I love it. I can't stop listening to it, and that's going to be Ryan Adams, Ashes of Fire, his LA album, I like to call it. He recorded this after he moved from New York to LA, and you can tell LA's all over it, from just the cover artwork, you know, to the gatefold. Pretty cool gatefold, and it comes with another like inner thing, some more pictures that are pretty cool, and a lyric sheet, of course. Excuse me while I flip the record. Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, what was cool when I was reading about the people that played on it, I didn't realize that Norah Jones was all over this album, whether she's doing backing vocals or piano. She's actually quite a big member of this record, so that's cool to find out. I know he's good friends with her, so didn't know he was that great though. But some key songs from this are Invisible Riverside, the opening cut, Dirty Rain is a great song, Lucky Now is a single. I mean, they're all really good, so if you haven't heard Ryan Adams and you've heard me talk about him enough and you want to get into it, I suggest starting here at Ashes and Fire, or going back to his first release as a solo artist, which was 2000's Heartbreaker, which is one of the best records of all time, if you ask me. Another one I went and got was, I saw this guy, he was performing at Origami Vinyl as an in-store, and my friends have been talking about him. There's a lot of buzz building around this artist, so I decided to go. The show was alright. He seemed like he blew the PA, but it was cool enough, and I decided to pick the record. It was only 13 bucks, and I've fallen in love with it. It is going to be in my top 10, absolutely. Really surprised by how great it was. It's songs that we've all heard before. They're not very unique, but it's something that you can just all relate to. So that's something that really is key to me, and that's going to be Youth Lagoon. This guy is 22 years old. Pretty much recorded all of this 8 songs in his bedroom, and he used to work at Urban Outfitters, quit Urban Outfitters, went to Boise State, quit Boise State, and is touring and making music full time now, and is paying off because he's done one hell of a job at it. Comes with a pretty cool 7-inch. It's got 2 songs that aren't on the album, and favorite song on the album, Cannons, which is I guess the single, I guess you could say, and July. 17 is also a really good song. It's only 8 songs, so it's rather quick, but that nice 2-song EP makes it a little longer, so pick this up if you haven't already. Another band you've heard me talk about, EP just finally came out. I've talked about them enough, so you must have maybe checked them out, hopefully, but that is Long Beach band, The Fling. This is their EP, What I've Seen. It's got some really grooving hooks on it, some really memorable riffs that just stick with you for the rest of the day. Leave Me Alone is probably my favorite song by The Fling, actually. Like I was saying, really great guitar hook and great vocals. Like I said before, it's pretty generic, but they sound like the Beatles, but a modern day Beatles, and a little bit more unique than every other band that sounds like the Beatles. So check them out, The Fling. Great EP actually. And now, last but not least, this album was really hard to get. Everywhere I looked was sold out. Finally, I found a tweet that Amoeba had got it in. Raced down there and picked it up. I've been waiting long for this because I hadn't listened to any of the press releases of it from NPR or anything like that, so I waited till I got on vinyl, and boy did it pay off. One of my favorite artists of all time, the mysterious Tom Waits. I mean, it gets better with age. It seems like he's like fine wine. This is Bad As Me. It's been 7 years since he released a new set of work, and definitely worth the wait. Still kind of diving into it, haven't, as you need to with the Tom Waits albums, I haven't listened to it, spun it about 3 or 4 times, so I need about a couple, another week or 2 before I finally am able to grasp and digest it fully. But so far, I mean, the title track, Bad As Me, has been pretty killer. Chicago, the opener, has been great as well, and New Year's Eve is a nice little closer for us, so pretty great album, Bad As Me, Tom Waits, and it comes with a really cool booklet. 16 pages. It's got the lyrics and some pictures. That's a great one of Tom Waits, so just flipping through. But yeah, it's great. So pick that up if you're a Tom Waits fan or just looking to get into him, because that is a nice place to start over his entire catalog, which is quite big. But anyways, that's all for now, and I hope you guys are having a good week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.